Gauss's law is a great way of visualizing how an electric field passing in some orientation through some surface, in this case, two-dimensional surfaces, can be used to result in some enclosed charge divided by the electric permittivity constant. Now, what we're going to look at is actually a part of Gauss's law, which is the electric field vector and the dot product of the normal vector to the surface the electric field is passing through. In the leftmost case, essentially we have the electric field vector and the normal vector, the vector normal to our area. Those two vectors should be viewed as overlapping perfectly on top of each other, so that the electric field vector is perpendicular to the surface, or essentially the angle between the normal vector and the electric field vector is 0 degrees, which if our electric field vector is 10, has a magnitude of 10, and our normal vector by convention has a magnitude of 1, well then that component of the electric field dot product normal vector would be 10 times 1 times cosine of 0, or 10, which is a great way of getting the maximum magnitude of that component. Now, if we were to say slightly offset the angle, we're not looking at the angle between the electric field vector and the surface, but the angle between the normal vector to the surface and the electric field vector. And that was always that's something to get our heads wrapped around. Now, in this particular case, the electric field vector is 60 degrees off from being normal to the surface, which in this case that would result in 10 times 1 times cosine of 60 degrees, which results in 5. So essentially reducing the effect by half. And in the case where the electric field vector is parallel to the surface or perpendicular to the normal vector, well, as displayed on the right, that would end up being our two vector magnitudes multiplied by cosine of 90 degrees, which would just equal 0. And this is essentially just understanding one part of Gauss's law according to the notation given to us in Maxwell's handbook textbook.